I never told a single soul that I was in love with my best friend. Not one person. Not even her. And then one night, by complete accident, I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me. Sounds crazy, right? This is a true story about hidden feelings, a joke that went nuclear, and how saying the wrong thing at the right time can flip your entire world upside down. Stick around because what happened next still gives me chills. Let me take you back to where this all started. Her name is Mia. We met in high school, freshman year. Same lunch table, same terrible sense of humor, same hatred for homework. You know that feeling when you meet someone and it's just easy? No pretending. No walking on eggshells. That was us. For 10 years, we did everything together. Late-night drives. Failed cooking experiments. Breakups where I held her ice cream while she cried. Breakups where she did the same for me. We had inside jokes that would take an hour to explain. We finished each other's sentences. People always asked, "Why aren't you two together?" And we both laughed and said the same thing every time. Nah, we're just friends. But here's the thing nobody tells you about best friends. Sometimes you lie without opening your mouth. I told myself I didn't like her like that. I really did. I dated other people. She dated other people. Life moved forward. But somewhere deep down, in a place I refused to look at, I knew the truth. Every girl I dated felt like I was settling. Every guy she dated, I secretly hated for no good reason. I just never said it. Not once. Why? Fear. Plain and simple. Fear of losing her. Fear of making things weird. Fear that she didn't feel the same, and then our whole friendship would turn into this awkward, painful thing. So I buried it for years. I got really good at pretending. Now, fast forward to last winter, January. Cold as ice. We were at her place, sitting in her backyard around this old fire pit she got from her dad. You know the kind. Rusty, chipped paint, but it works. We had a couple of drinks. Nothing crazy. Just enough to make your cheeks warm and your mouth a little looser than it should be. We were laughing about something stupid. I don't even remember what. Maybe an old photo from college. Maybe some drama with an ex. Whatever it was, we were in that perfect mood where everything is funny. And then she said something. I wish I could remember her exact words, but I can't. All I remember is she joked about how she'd probably die alone with 7 cats. And me, being the genius I am, thought it would be hilarious to get down on one knee and say, "Marry me then." Here's where the problem starts. When I dropped to one knee, I wasn't thinking. My brain was on autopilot, joke mode, but my heart was dead serious. And that's the scary part. You can lie to everyone. You can even lie to yourself. But your body, it doesn't lie. The moment I looked up at her face, something shifted. The fire was crackling behind her. The lights from the house made her eyes look different. And before I could even finish laughing, she looked me right in the eyes, completely straight-faced, and said, "I thought you'd never ask." Silence. Not the comfortable kind. The kind where you can hear your own heartbeat in your ears. The fire popped. A car drove by somewhere in the distance, and I just knelt there like an idiot, mouth half open, realizing I had just walked into a trap of my own making. Now here's what I didn't know at that moment. According to relationship psychologists, friends who spend a lot of one-on-one time together, especially over many years, have a much higher chance of developing romantic feelings than either person realizes. There's actually a term for it. It's called emotional adjacency. The closer you stand to someone emotionally, the blurrier the line between friendship and love becomes. And the scary part? Most people never admit it until something forces them to. That night, the fire forced me. I finally stood up. My legs felt like jelly, and I said the only honest thing I've ever said in my life. "Wait, are you serious?" She didn't laugh. She didn't smile. She just looked down at the ground, then back at me and said, "I've been waiting for you to say something for 3 years." 3 years? That number hit me like a truck. I thought I was the only one hiding. I thought I was protecting our friendship by staying quiet. But all I did was waste time. 36 months of holidays, birthdays, late-night talks, and near misses. All because neither of us had the guts to say the truth out loud. But here's the twist. Just because she said yes to the joke didn't mean everything was suddenly perfect. In fact, the next morning was one of the most awkward, painful mornings of my entire life. We woke up on her couch. We had fallen asleep watching some old movie, and neither of us wanted to bring up what happened. I made coffee. She made toast. We sat at the kitchen table like two strangers who had just met. No jokes, no laughter. Just this heavy, weird silence. Why? Because we had both crossed a line we promised ourselves we'd never cross. And now there was no going back. Either we talked about it for real or our friendship was going to crash and burn. I remember staring into my coffee mug thinking, "You idiot. You had one job. Keep things normal. And you blew it with a stupid joke." So I did the hardest thing I've ever done. I opened my mouth and said, "Mia, I need to tell you something I should have told you years ago." And then I told her everything. Every single feeling I had buried. Every time I got jealous and pretended not to care. Every night I stayed up wondering what if. I told her I was terrified. I told her I didn't want to lose her. I told her that the joke wasn't really a joke. Not completely. And do you know what she did? She started crying. Not sad crying, the kind of crying when you've been holding your breath underwater for 3 years and someone finally pulls you up. She told me she had tried to move on so many times. She dated other guys hoping she would forget about me, but every single time she found herself comparing them to me, and they never won, not once. Here's something interesting I learned later. A study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that over 60% of people admit to having feelings for a close friend at some point in their lives, but less than 30% actually say anything. That means millions of people are walking around right now, sitting next to their best friend on a couch, feeling exactly what I felt and saying absolutely nothing. Why? Because rejection from a stranger hurts for a week. Rejection from your best friend hurts for a lifetime. So we stay quiet. We play it safe. We tell ourselves it's better this way. But let me tell you from experience, it's not better. It's just easier. And easier isn't the same as happier. That morning, after we both stopped crying and our coffee went cold, I looked at her and I said, "So what do we do now?" And she laughed. A real laugh. The kind I hadn't heard since we were kids. And she said, "Well, you already proposed. So I guess we're engaged." We both lost it, laughing so hard we could barely breathe. And in that moment, I realized something I had been too blind to see for 10 years. Love isn't always fireworks and dramatic music. Sometimes it's a rusty fire pit, a dumb joke, and a girl who has been sitting right next to you the whole time. We didn't get married the next day or anything crazy like that. We took it slow. We dated for real. We told our families, who, by the way, were not surprised at all. Her mom literally said, "Finally." I was getting tired of pretending I didn't know. That's the thing about hidden feelings. Everyone around you usually sees them before you do. You think you're being sneaky. You're not. So here we are now, engaged, for real. No joke this time. And looking back, I can't believe how close I came to never saying anything. If I hadn't made that stupid joke by the fire pit, I might have gone my whole life never knowing she felt the same way. I might have watched her marry someone else. I might have stood at her wedding as the best friend, smiling on the outside and dying on the inside. And for what? Pride? Fear? Ego? Don't let that be you. If there's someone in your life who makes everything better just by being there, don't wait for a perfect moment. Don't wait for a joke. Don't wait 3 years like I did. Because the truth is, the worst they can say is no. And that hurts. But you know what hurts more? Never knowing. Watch this next video about another true story where a single text message changed 2 lives forever. I promise you won't see the ending coming.